Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trading Within the Box here on January 25th here at 11:35 a.m. We're going to go over the stocks at the end of the week here. But first of all, this is not a recommendation to buy, hold, or sell any stocks, options, futures, forex, or any equities or options. This is a educational video only. If you'd like to purchase stocks, please contact a licensed professional, and they will help you there execute trades. Okay, so let's go through it. We're going to go through the S&P 500 first, and we are at the top again here. So, but we did make a new high, so we're going to pull back here. If you look at this point right here, if you draw a line right in that spot, you'll see that we got up and above. Now, what happens with these things is when they start to move far away from the moving averages, they will come back to them, okay? Or it'll come back right to this point at the 603.13 on the S&P 500. Now, that's the best 500 stocks. Now, when we always go to a weekly chart to see where the stock market, because the S&P 500 is the stock market, what do we look at? Now, we're in the danger zone again here, okay? So when you look at a support level on a weekly area, okay, and then you look at a resistance area right here on the weekly chart right here, you are right at the tippy top. Now, if you were on the bottom and you flip this screen, you'd be at resistance, and it would be a very good buying opportunity. So right here, again, all the way at the top. But the only good thing we have going on here is that we did cross above for the weekly to go up, so we could be getting a rally here. Okay, as we look at the stock market, which is mostly the S&P 500, we go to the 2-hour chart and we see what's happening here, and we have the run, okay, already. So now when that run started, we got up and above. We were right here on January 15th, okay? So we look at, as we keep pulling back to the moving average, now we're pulled back again to the moving average. Now, look at the volume on the S&P 500 where the buying on Thursday was, okay? Look at Wednesday. We had a little profit taker, just pulled back. It was just a pullback. Tuesday, okay, you see right here on Monday that was. Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so right in this area right here, look at the buying that came in. Okay, now we're basing a little bit right to the support area. But at the end of the last 2 hours of the day, we had a surge of buying. So let's see if they're going to take this to 614.77 here. So on Monday. So that's going to be a very interesting thing to be watching as we keep going through the market. But I want to give you a little market analysis first before we go into the stocks, okay? And right here, on the XLF, we are also in resistance on the daily chart. Now, again, watch what's going on here with the banks. Now, we have buying here with the banks, which is good. Okay, we have buying with the banks, which is solid. The only thing is you have a double top up here, okay? So when you have a double top, they usually pull them back, okay? So that's where you're looking on the bank basket, which is the XLF. Now, when we went into these bars right here, let's do a volume analysis on the banks. When we came into this bar from December 3rd, we had 46.92 million shares. Okay, we came in and closed into it on January 21st with 33 million shares, which is lighter volume. Okay, then we get a sideways consolidation with a pop to the upside with 39 million shares. So we are going to test the top of that candlestick. We go into the candlestick on December 2nd, and we're going into that area with lighter volume. Okay, so you're going to have a double top here, then you're going to get a pullback. Okay, you might even get the pullback now. Okay, so let's go over to the weekly chart now. Let's go over because the weekly tells you everything. Okay, so now you have to be careful here because you have straight ups, and straight ups usually, what happens with a straight up is, you see it right here. There's a straight up right here. Okay, straight up, you'll get 1, 2, maybe you'll lag a few weeks up into this area, and then boom, you're going to get the pullback. Okay. So I'm not saying crash, I'm saying pullback because look at the volume. Unless you get some catastrophic news or something like that, okay? So you get the pullback, you can pull back to here, and then you can form a W formation, okay? And then you're off to the races higher, okay? Nothing goes up forever, as we know, but we also want to know where we are with the volume. Now, the volume on the weekly chart on the week of December 2nd was 200 million shares on the XLF, which is the bank basket. going into that area with 214 million shares. Now, remember, the weekly dictates to the daily. You go into this week with lighter volume at 141 million shares. So, as you get into this area, you're losing steam, okay? So you're going into a double top right here on a weekly chart, so you got to be careful, and you want to see if you get less volume next week, you know you're going to get a pullback, okay? Let's go to SMH, which is the semiconductors. That's what we're interested in because we're interested in a lot of the tech stocks. Going into this monster downdraft on the week of July 15th of 2024. Now, on that downdraft, there was a lot of volume coming down, okay? You have 50 million shares, okay? Now, the last week, 3 weeks ago, you had 30 million. The week before last week, you had 26 million. Remember, 50. And now this week, you go 21. So you're losing steam here with the semiconductors, okay? So that's going to have a hard time fighting into that area with that bet. Now, we could teeth up into that area with lighter volume. You'll watch the lower time frames to see that. Now, this I don't like because you do have a sideways consolidation here. So it's very choppy here, okay? Very, very choppy. You see this? But you do have higher lows, which is very, very good, okay? Now, the next good news here is you got up and above the resistance area, okay? So if you got up in this area and you failed once, okay? You failed twice, but this time you didn't fail, okay? So that's good news, okay, with the semiconductors, okay? You got up and above, so you broke the ice area and you got up and above, so that's very important actually. So it probably will retest that 1 point as it's pulling back. Now, as you go into sorry about that, let's go over to the 2-hour chart, and the 2-hour chart, now we have more profit taking on the semiconductors here, okay? You have a stochastic all the way down into the oversold, okay? But you do have, look at the volume here. Look at the volume on the 2-hour chart, okay, right here, okay? So you do have a little more selling in this spot, but you're holding, okay? Now, the bad thing about this is for a short-term trade is that you have lower lows, okay? Let's go back to this here. You have lower lows right there, okay? So you could be breaking down here a little bit, okay, just for a pullback. Let's see, though, okay, we're going to have to actually see how that's going to break. IWM, which is the small cap stocks, which actually that's the barometer of what is the stock market doing. So now watch this. You came off a major support area on the weekly chart on the week of January 13th, okay? So we had the buy and come in with the small caps. Now, we're closed higher, but we're losing steam with the volume a little bit. Now, we don't have follow-through volume. You see what follow-through volume is right here? This is follow-through volume right here. So you have 1 week, and then you're going into this area, but you're going in with stronger volume. So you did fail, but then you came back up. So you don't have follow-through volume. Now, if you look back at this area right here with the this is the small cap stocks, you had in this area, as you surged up, you had decreasing volume. See it right there? So you did test a top area, but you know there's a warning sign coming, okay? And then boom, you get the correction, okay? That's not a crash, that's a correction, okay? So let's say that was from 242 to 214. That's a correction like Apple's doing right now, okay? Now, let's go over to, we're going to go over to Microsoft first. Let's go to the Qs first, because we got the Qs. Now, the Qs is where, Microsoft and all those stocks are in, okay? So, so we did cross up, but we are going into a double top area. Now, we're going in with lighter volume again here. So we could get a little surge for a few days, maybe, then boom, we're going to pull back. Okay. Now let's go over to Microsoft, the old world Microsoft. Okay. Now, let's just look really quick here. Now, with Microsoft, let's do the weekly chart first. Now, the one beautiful thing about Microsoft right now is with fantastic volume. Okay, the last 2 weeks. Okay. So let's do an analysis here. We came onto the support level right here at this area. I think it was like in the 414 area. Okay, now we came up and there was a lot of buying. Now look at the weekly chart. How we have a higher low, we have a higher low, we have a higher low, and then now we have another higher low. So that's strong and powerful as you're going into these areas. Okay, remember you have a sell area right here. Bingo, right there, right almost where you are now. Okay, so these tops that were done on the 16th and the 9th of December of 2024, we had highs of 455.29, and we had a high of 456.16. Okay, that was during the holidays. Okay, now we're going. Let's look at the little volume analysis here. Now, as we go into this, we're closed into this candlestick already, okay? So we want to see if we're going to test this top. Now, we're into that candlestick, okay, on December 6th for 158 million shares, okay? When we were coming up, we came up with 95 and 87. Now, that's not good. So these are magnets. These right here are magnets. You see this? That's a magnet, okay? A lot of times they'll go into that area and they'll test it, okay? Sometimes they'll even go all the way to the top and test it with a lot of volume, okay? Now look at the increasing volume. That's a good sign, okay? Now, the only problem is we go into that area with lighter volume. Now, when we went into this area on July 15, 2024, which we're into it now, that's 95 million shares, okay? So at 87 and 90 and a 95.868, okay? So we could test into that spot. It's very, very possible. How we're going to know is, okay, now when we get up into that area, if we get up into there, because remember this, we got a danger zone here now, okay? And what's the danger zone with Microsoft? The earnings, okay? Now, the earnings are on Wednesday, January 29th, okay? We're in resistance on a daily chart. I said we were going to go up to that 444 area. Okay, how did I know? Okay, we got the gap up, and then boom, we had right there. Now we are into resistance here, so and we're at the top, and we're into this candlestick. Now, because we're on a daily chart, and on December 18th we had 24 million shares, we're going in with 28 million shares. So that's a good sign on the short-term trade. Okay, now we went into it, but we didn't test the high of it, the 452.65. Okay, we're at 444.06 right now. Okay, now we're far away from the moving average. So if you get a little pullback here, don't be shocked, because you could get this pullback into the gap. Now you don't want to really fill the gap, but you want to try to get into the spot here. If it holds into this 438 range, let's see where it is. Actually, the gap is in the 436 range, okay? And it holds and it starts busting up. You see if it's going to take this out, okay? Now, got the earnings. Now, what I don't like about Microsoft with earnings is now in October 31st earnings, okay, they sold into it. So they went from 438 all the way down to 40. Let's see what the bottom was. That was 406.30. Okay, and then they bought back. They bought it back. Okay. Now, when you go back to the earnings on July 30th, they sold it off. You see again. Okay. Now, when you go to the earnings of April 25th, 2024, there was a buying because you were already down there. Okay, so it seems like when you're at the top. Now look at the earnings on January 30th, 2024. Okay, what did they do right before the earnings? They sold it off. Okay, let's keep going here. Now we go down to this is on October 24th, 2023. Okay, and then what happened with the earnings? Boom, they had a surge, and I do remember that. Boom, and they sold into it. Now, they're selling into earnings, but then they're getting a revival after it, okay? So it seems like a lot of times that's what's happening. When we were down into this area on July 25th, okay, of 2023, we were all the way up in this 350 range or whatever, and then they sold it off. Okay, so we got to be careful during earnings here with Microsoft, as always. Okay, let's go back to the chart, and now we're over here. Okay, so if you squeeze your chart back, you're in a channel too at the same time here. So look where you are. You're in a channel. Look at the channel. See the channel? That's your channel. Okay. So are we in this channel here? Remember that too, because you have higher lows here all the way back from here, from August 5th, 2024, which is very solid. That means that it's stronger, it's stronger, it's stronger, it's stronger every time it pulls back. Okay. So, and down here you have the double tweezers, which is very, very strong for a buy. Okay. So do not be surprised if we get this pullback here on Microsoft. And as we go along, let's see what happens. Let's see if we get this kind of thing. We got pullback. Then we get the right side of the W higher, and boom, we're off to the races again. The only thing is, we're reaching up to a top area, okay, on Microsoft. Now, one other thing about Microsoft I want to show you is that, let's go to the weekly chart here, because you can see it a little bit better. Let's look at the peaks, okay? And this is very important, because remember about the 4 peaks, okay? So the 4 peaks, we came up, there's 1 peak there. We got 2 peaks, that's the second peak, okay? Now, this isn't, because this didn't break higher. This is the 3rd peak, okay? In this rally. Now, this is a rally that took a long, long time, okay? So we have 1 peak, we have 2 peak, 3 peak. Now, when it goes to the 4th peak, that's when the sell-off comes, okay? So when you look at Microsoft on a weekly chart, because the weekly really dictates to everything over time, okay? Remember, we're still in an uptrend here on Microsoft. See the moving average? Look at the moving average as we're kind of basing a little bit here, but we're still above it, so it's still being supported in a longer term trade, which is months, let's say, okay, not years, okay. Now, when we go over to a monthly chart, let's look at the monthly chart on Microsoft, okay, because it's very important here, okay, especially if you have a lot of shares on the table and you have an investment. Look at the monthly chart as we crossed up. Now remember, the monthly charts, when they cross up, that's very powerful for the upside. Okay, look how it crossed up here. Then look at the run that it took. Okay, now we're just crossing again. So what is that? That is very, very powerful. You got to stomach the pullbacks over the days, weeks, and months. But look at this. Okay, as you continue to stay above the moving average, look how you're still above the moving average here. That means you stay. Okay, that means you stay. Okay, so we already closed on the month. Now we're getting to the end of January here. So if we stay above this area here, we could get up into this 471 area. Okay, so that's very powerful on a longer term trade. Okay, you got to stomach the pullbacks. Okay, 2-hour chart on Microsoft, as we were watching it the other day, and here, look how we pulled back to the moving average here. Now look at the 2-hour chart with the massive amount of volume here. Okay, the massive amount of volume in this area. Look at that massive buying. Now, when Home Depot months ago had that, we surged. We kept surging to the upside. Okay, so now you're in a sideways consolidation situation here. Okay, so this is what you want to see. Okay, now a lot of times, if this busts out, you have this long sideways consolidation here. This could be accumulation of buying. Okay, now you can get this side. Now, if you bust out and you bust above 448.50, you're going in the 460s range, 462. Okay, you're going in that spot. Because as long as they go sideways is as long as they go up. Take your ruler out, measure it, and then measure up. Okay. Now, if this goes sideways and it breaks down, you can take your ruler out and measure it how far down it's going to go. Okay, so that's very, very important to know. Not 100%, but most of the time, that's usually what happens. Okay. Let's go over to, it's enough for Microsoft right now. Let's go to Amazon, another big dog here. And on Amazon made a new high. Now, Amazon, look at the strength of Amazon here, okay? Now, I want to show you this. Look at Amazon. Here's the box, trading within the box, right? Here's the box, okay? Now, you broke up and above with great volume. Okay, continuous volume buying. Now look at this as continuous volume buying down here, and then look what happened. Okay, when Amazon shooting up. Now this is a sideways consolidation here that just busted up. Now that's very, very, very strong and powerful. Okay, now when you look at the weekly chart on Amazon, what happens here? Now as you look at it here, you see we pulled back to the, now weekly chart dictates to everything. And then the monthly chart dictates to the weekly, but that's long term. We get the sideways consolidation. Now, this is great news for Amazon. Sideways consolidation, boom, we bust up. Now, we should be going to the 253 range, okay? There's that beautiful sideways, beautiful volume. We do have earnings coming, but that's going to be the week of February 3rd, okay? So let's see how that does. Now let's look at the peaks on the weekly chart here. Okay, let's look at the peaks. Okay, we got one peak, we got two peaks, we got three from the last run. Okay, now we got three. This will be the fourth peak, so that'd be a major sell spot right in that area. Okay, and that's probably going to be where the correction comes in. Okay, we go into Meta. Okay, Meta, Facebook. And let's look at, first of all, we got earnings again. Now, we got a lot of earnings with these stocks coming up here, with the tech stocks. But look at the solid run. I mean, this is a monster run. This is a monster bull run for Meta. Okay, so what happens last time? Now, this was a sideways consolidation. Remember I told you, as sideways as they go is as high as they go. Okay, now breaks out here right in this area. Okay, now when was this? This was the week of September 16th. Okay, oh, September 16th. Okay, so that breaks out, we get another sideways move, and we come back up into this area. Now we broke above and we just closed again higher, and then we have higher volume on Meta. So look at Meta, look at the power of Meta, possibly heading into the 670 and 700 range. Okay, so that's what we're looking for Meta. Okay, that's what now Meta. Look how strong again here on the daily chart. We get the sideways move. It's a sideways trading within the box. That's a sideways move right there, and then boom, busting out with good volume. Great news for Meta right now, and you stay. Okay, you're staying right now, Meta. Okay. Let's go over to Apple really quick, because we want to look at Apple and we want to do an analysis on Apple, because Apple got the correction. Okay, Apple got the correction. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Now on Apple, we still have more selling here, so we could go down to the fourth peak, which will be 215.41. Okay, now go to the fourth peak, we should get some of that covering, because it's right here. Boom. We're right in the buy area. We're right in a major buy. Now, this is another good news here, okay, on Apple. Even though your accounts are down on Apple, okay? You see this volume stick right here, okay? Let me go to it. Right here. Boom. See that monster? Okay? That monster should be retested again up here sometime, maybe a month or 2 or 3 away, okay? So that's good news, because they always go right back to it. They always go right back to those monsters, because that's where the trading was. That's where the volume was. Okay, so we go back to the weekly chart, and we do have a breakdown. Okay, so we did break the trend slightly. Okay, but we are in a major support area. This does happen a lot. You'll go back down to this area right here. Now, if it breaks to 118 and it starts to head down, then you know you're in trouble. Then you're going down to the 198 range, okay? So that's something we have to see. We have increasing volume. We have the pullback on Apple. Remember, we had all-time highs on Apple, okay? So that's remember that too. And we have the 2-hour chart, and we want to look at Apple here, okay? Trending down, just still trending down, okay? But what do we have here? And good news, okay? This is good news for Apple. We're basing. We're not selling off anymore. Okay, is that accumulation of buying right here? Okay, because look what's happening. We have a sideways consolidation. Now, if we get this sideways consolidation, and you get this over here, right in this area, you're going down. Okay. Now, if you hold and you start to get a little bit of a trending of buying, that's a great sign. Okay, so that's something that Apple has to be watched. Okay. Let's go over to Costco because that's another one. And Costco, let's go over the daily chart on Costco, COST. And now Costco, we took a ride down, okay? We're up in this 1,000 price range, and then we took it down to 902. So that's a big hit, okay? That's a correction, okay? Let's go over to the weekly chart. And go to the weekly chart now on Costco. And we're riding the 50-day moving average. This is that's the 50. This is the 20-day moving average. So the 20-day moving average on Costco, where we're at, it was holding. Now the buying did come in here on Costco. Now we're waiting to see. Now we haven't even crossed up yet on the weekly chart. We get a little more buying. We start crossed up, we'll be in an uptrend, and we'll start heading back up here. Let's look at the monthly chart because we really want to know what's happening with Costco. And right now we could be retesting. Here we go again. We're hopefully retesting the 980 price range. Let's go over to the 2-hour chart because I want to see what's happening now, right this minute. That's how the 2-hour chart works. So we have this is very solid. Okay. So if we got break up buying in this area here, we have the step pattern, okay, which is very, very powerful, okay. If sideways move, boom, we bust up. Sideways move, boom, bust up. You break the 954.69 area, boom, you go into 966.18, okay. Well, first you have to pass that area, okay. So that's something that we have to keep watching on Costco. GE. Okay, let's go over to GE and let's go over the weekly chart on G, and then look at this monster. Okay, now we came up to the all-time high. We broke up and we did close a little higher, but we came up all the way into that range. Okay, now on the daily chart, okay, they're taking profits. Why? I mean, this is not a surprise. Okay. They're taking profits right up into the resistance area at the 204 range, okay? And then let's see if now we have more selling than buying here. This is the first time you're coming in with a lot of selling here. So got to be careful and watch this. This could be a correction on GE coming up, okay? GEV, which is GE Verona, okay? The Vernova, I mean. And we're all-time high again here. Okay, we're at all-time high. Now, we have mass amounts of volume here at this spot right here. So, you got to be careful that we're not going to get a correction here on this, okay? Now, this was way, way back in August of 2024. It was $153. So, look at this monster coming in, okay? Look at that monster. And this is... See, the thing here is you're far away from the moving average, so you could get a pullback here. Let's see how powerful and strong that's going to stay. Okay, that's something that's getting close for a profit taking there. We'll go over to TMO because that one, constantly watching that one too. Now, TMO, we knew it because we had the W formation right here on the weekly chart. We said, let's just wait because it's coming, and we were right. Okay, look at that beautiful W formation on the weekly chart. Boom. Right side is higher than the left side. Okay, we got beautiful increasing volume right there. We have a little bit of less volume this past week, okay, but look where we are. Okay, now when we go into the candlesticks, as we go into the week of October 21st, 2024, we had 7.4 million shares. We're teething into it with 6.4, but we closed into this with 11.7 the week before last week. Okay, so looks like we're going to test. We could test the top of that candlestick. Now we want to know if we're going to keep trending up. Okay, we want to know if we're going to keep trending up, but this is solid on the 2-hour chart. Now the volume here, they took some profits. We came back to the line, and now we're still over the 20-day moving average, but we're going into resistance area. Okay, so we got to keep watching TMO because it's still in an uptrend. Okay, on TMO, Shake Shack. Let's watch the weekly chart on Shake Shack. Okay, so on Shake Shack we have a correction. Okay, so this has to wait. Okay, because we're coming down to here, and then we want to see when that weekly pulls all the way to the bottom and the buying starts coming in. Then we're going to see what they're going to do. Okay, so right now, let's see from the top. We have 1 peak, 2 peaks, 3 peaks. Now, if the fourth stays here and then we get an engulfing and we get the W base right here, double bottom with the base, and we get engulfing and we start heading up, we could start changing direction on Shake Shack. Okay, so that's something that we need to keep watching. Okay, on Shake Shack. So that's something we're all the way at support right now. Okay, nobody wants to sell at support. That would just be dumb. Okay, because we're going to get a covering, right? So let's see if we get this. Okay, let's see if that. So that's something that's going to take a little time. We have to watch. That was like the same situation with TMO and the same situation we're waiting on Apple. Okay, let's go to TT. And TT is the Train Technologies. And Train Technologies went slammed right into the resistance area and they're taking profits. Now, we had a capitulation buying candlestick, but then we had indecision right here at the sell point. Okay, so with TT, okay, we on a weekly chart love the volume. Now, look at the W formation on TT on the weekly chart. Okay, W right side is higher. Boom, excellent volume. Right on TT, and then watch this. Watch this. Okay, we want to see if we're going to head up into this spot at the 410. That's what we're waiting for here. Now we could get this, slam into it, pull back. We're in an uptrend. Okay, we're in an uptrend. Okay, we want to see on the monthly chart what's going on with TT. So TT, look at this. Okay, you got this going on here. Look at this. Look at this thing, okay? So you got the sideways consolidation month by month here up here at this spot. Now you got the sideways issue here. So let's see if we get up into this 410. That's what we want to try for. It's 400 right now. Okay. On Uber, as some people say Uber, we go into the monthly, and now the monthly it's sitting at support. So on the weekly chart, we're coming off the bottom here, and we got strength with good volume coming into this area. So we want to see if Uber's going to start trending up, and it is. Okay, it's trending up, but it's trending up with lighter volume. Okay, so that's something we want to see if we get the bullish head and shoulders here. Okay, if we do, neckline's there, boom, going higher. Okay. So, but the concern about this is that we have decreasing volume, okay? So that's not a good thing, okay? Because you need energy and you need volume to go up. With that said, I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank everybody for watching. And happy trading. Hope everything goes well. And we'll keep watching Microsoft, right?